Okay, we're live.
Hey everyone, welcome. It's Ken and Kathy Cushman with Cushman Coaching and Consulting.
And we're here to talk about what matters. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for supporting us in the past. We're very appreciative and honored that we have your support, and appreciate the comments that I've gotten from some of you on the side. And we look forward to going forward as we talk more about relationships. So today we're continuing to talk about relationships. Just recently we surveyed a lot of our past participants of our trainings and the programs that we did with our previous company, Summit Education. And what we found that what boiled down to as far as results, that almost all of them focused around the area of relationship. Whether it was business or family or career, or actually like a personal relationship, a primary relationship, romantic relationships. But it all kind of boiled down to relationships. Mm-hmm. And, as we begin to learn how to relate to people, right, through the trainings, it really becomes I think, one of the most important things that we could be talking about.
Yes.
Here we are in the middle of the holidays, going into the new year. Mm-hmm. And whether you're committed to being in a romantic relationship or taking your relationship to the next level, this is important.
Yes.
So somebody had asked me, it's been a week or so, but they'd asked me about, things when you're in a relationship and you don't feel connected to your partner. Mm-hmm. Or you don't feel like, I think you said it this way once, that you kind of feel like you have become roommates.
Yes.
Right? Rather than being in a relationship.
I think a lot of relationships go through these ups and downs. And I think one of the problems in our society is we have these expectations that it's supposed to be wonderful all the time. And I don't think that's possible. That's just my belief. But I do think, where we put our energy, that's where we're going to create the most results, mm-hmm. right? And if we put our energy on what bothers me about my partner, or like little irritations that happen day to day when you live with someone. If that's where I put my focus, then that's where all my energy is going to go, and that's how I'm going to feel. But if I put my focus on the big things, the important things, and that can be really hard to do in a day-to-day situation, right? It can be, hey, Mary Beth, how are you?
Thanks for joining us.
It can be a struggle sometimes to do that. To remember, okay, what's the big picture? And, so what if he left his dirty socks on the floor, right? What really matters, what's really important. And being able to shift how I see things in order to create the relationship that I want.
Mm-hmm. In going with what you were talking about, a lot of times when people they have this idea in their mind about how their relationship should look, or what it should be like, mm-hmm. and they're not present to what's happening. And so they focus on the things that aren't the way they want them to be, or mm-hmm. the problem, like in these little things. And that begins to create some space between us and relationship.
Yes.
And this is for anybody that's out there. Oh, you can't hear us? Are we talking and you can't hear?
You can't hear us?
Comment again. Oh, I'm going to double check my audio. Real quick. Test. Okay. It might be yours, but I'm going to bring my microphone volume up a little bit. Actually, we'll do the automatic adjustment. Is that better? It may be your speakers, Mary Beth. I just checked on the audio, and it's registering the signal on StreamYard, which is broadcasting our thing. Okay. So people tend to focus on the problems. So anybody that's out there listening now, or if you listen to it later, I'll give you something that could really move your relationship to another level. If you're in your relationship right now, it's been uncomfortable, or maybe you've had some challenges. Here's what I'm going to recommend. Remember what it was that attracted to you about this person and what you really love about them. And then what I want you to do is I want you to look at them, as you watch them throughout the day, and when you see them do something when they do that thing that you really love, or what you really love about them, what I'm going to ask you to do is acknowledge it. Say, thank you for doing that, or, oh, I really love it that way. But I want you to just focus and look for the good things. Now, I know there's challenges out there, and there's some things that are uncomfortable, and it's really easy to focus on the uncomfortable, or the bad things, right, or the things that you don't like. But instead of doing that, when you notice that you're looking at a problem, not ignore the problem, but I want you to look for, really what's working and what you love about that person.
Yeah.
And then just do that for one day or even 2 days. Right? And notice your experience. Notice how you feel inside. Notice what's showing up in the relationship. And see what happens. I think you'll be surprised.
I just want to say this, Mary Beth. I just checked on my phone. That's what I was doing. I was looking down all that time. And I could hear it. So I don't know. You almost hear it, then it cuts off.
Maybe if there's someone else out there that's watching or listening, or maybe not listening because Mary Beth can't hear us, if you just comment and let us know, can you hear what we're saying right now, and is it okay? No, Mary Beth, we can't see you. We can see your comments, but we don't see you because your camera is not part of the stream. So, I know there's a few other people out there, whether you're on our Cushman coaching page.
Oh, sorry.
You gotta shut that off.
I just wanted to make sure that it is actually working.
If you're out there, if you just comment, let us know if you can hear us. That would be great. I see there's a couple people on our page. One of them might be you.
Yes, probably. Okay,
but
so
back to the relationships.
Right, and what you were saying, because this is a really important point, and is that I can take an upset in the relationship and turn it around and have it connect me with what I love about you, and what I love about that person. And I was thinking about this the other day, and we actually did this training years ago, and we had to create an exercise, and I created one around this idea that the things that irritate you about someone or bother you about someone are, in fact, on some level, the same things that you love about them.
Why don't you explain that a little bit?
Okay, so, and here's what I mean by that. So, one of the things that in our relationship that has bothered me about you is, I'm going to say this as nice as I can, your generous spirit, right? And your willingness to do things for other people and not charge. Do trainings for people and not charge. And it has been, I'll say, a source of discomfort in our relationship at times, right? Has it not? Right? But if I look at it, that is one of the very things that I love about you, is that you are so giving, right? You are so willing to give yourself to something bigger than yourself. to something that really matters to you. And, you know, when I really think about that and connect with that, that is like, that means the world to me, right? And that same thing in a day-to-day situation can be a real source of irritation.
Well, how do you move yourself when that's coming up? How do you get yourself past that? Because I'm sure there may be some others out there like you that feel the same way. And guys, feel free to comment if you have something you want to say about that, or you have a question about another comment or another topic around this. Please feel free, comment, and we'll answer it, or we'll talk about that too. So how do you move yourself?
How do I move myself? Well, sometimes, and I'll just say this, and this is just for me, I don't know how the rest of you, sometimes I have to be in it, right? Sometimes my history is to enjoy wallowing a little bit. And sometimes I do. I want to be angry about something. I want to, I want to have a bone to pick, right? Like that's, sometimes I do. So when I get done being angry, upset, pissed off, when I don't want to experience that anymore, like, okay, I can't do that anymore, then there's a possibility of connecting with that other part of what's happening, right? And seeing the big picture.
So you just let it wear off? Or
No, not necessarily. But I mean, sometimes I think that I have to allow myself to be in my experience, right? And to really just connect with how annoyed I am or whatever. And what I have a tendency to want to do.
Hi, Sue.
Hey, Sue, can you hear us?
We might have had some audio problems earlier. Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Sue.
Good.
Okay. So, I forget, what was I saying now? So sometimes,
You have to allow yourself to be annoyed.
yes, until I get tired of being annoyed, right? And want to create a different, oh good, loud and clear. And am ready to experience something different, right? Sometimes I just have to let myself be annoyed.
And then what do you do?
Good question. I'm not really sure what I do. If it's just that I start to look at all the things that I love about you, right? And begin to connect with that and connect with my authentic empathy and love. And like I said, for me, sometimes that takes a minute, right? I'd like to say I'm loving and empathetic all the time, but sometimes in the heat of the moment, I may not be, and I may need a minute. And I think one of the other things that is important for me is...
Thanks, Mary Beth.
Oh, good. Is having other people also that I can talk to, right? And I think not necessarily...
You mean you talk to other people about me?
Yeah, I do.
Do they judge me?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait,
I didn't need to know that.
And they just agree with me. You're right. He is like that. You should feel that way. No, but the thing that I think that I'm really blessed with is I have friends that don't do that. That actually go, okay, so how long do you want to feel crappy? When are you going to want to experience something different again? You know, I'll be with you in the crappiness for a little while, but you know, let's put a time limit on it. And you know, a lot of times that can snap me out of it and go, oh, okay, right? What is really important to me here?
someone was once saying, once said this, that you want to make sure that the last thing that you say to someone could stand as the last thing you said to someone. And I want to add this kind of twist to it. Is this the experience that I want to have with you?
Yeah.
If this was the last experience that I could have with you. And we don't really know.
Right.
There are no guarantees in life that you'll be here tomorrow or I'll be here tomorrow. And I don't know, I'm trying to think of something that I could say. There's dirty dishes in the sink, or my socks are on the floor, or something like that. Right. Is that really important? Mm-hmm. Does it really matter in the scheme of things? Right. When you're gone or when I'm gone, is it really going to matter? I want to say this. 999 times out of 1,000, the answer is no, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And it's not going to matter.
Yeah.
But the problem is we tend to focus on that. Mm-hmm. Right? And then that just will generate like distance or separation in the relationship. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that's why we're in a relationship.
Right.
Right? Is the opposite, is to create connection. Mm-hmm. Right? And the experience of love. And then from my judgments or my about something that doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's not consistent with what I'm committed to creating a relationship. Mm-hmm. So, hi everybody that's out there. Thank you for joining us. I see there's a number of people watching from some of the different platforms. We're on YouTube, Cushman Coaching Consulting's webpage, or not webpage, but our Facebook page, and on my Facebook page. Comment and let us know that you're out there. We just see people, but we can't see names. But if you comment or ask a question, or if you want to share about something, here we are in the middle of the holidays, and it's usually can be a challenging time around relationships.
Yeah, for relationships.
Whether you're single or in a relationship, we all have challenges. So feel free to ask a question or share what you're doing to create the relationship of your dreams. Mm-hmm. As we're going into 2023, I think it's important to really be conscious about what you're committed to creating, so that you can take actions consistent or bring the you to whatever it is you're doing consistent with what it is you want. So how are you dealing with relationships in the holidays? What's working for you? What challenges you have? Just ask a question and we'll be happy to answer. Mm-hmm. So what's going to add?
Yeah, so we were talking about how important it is in a relationship when you're, maybe you're feeling misunderstood or annoyed by your partner, or maybe just out of sync, not connected. How important it is to kind of take a breath, take a moment. And I was thinking the other thing is important to really, focus my energy, on what's important and what matters. And a lot of times in my day-to-day, I don't take 20 minutes out and go, how are you? Really, how are you? What's really going on with you? And I think that's a really important thing for all of us, is that we, take a few minutes out of our day with our partner and just really connect with what's going on over there, particularly this time of year.
Another thing that I think gets challenging for most people in relationships is we tend to make assumptions based on things that we observe. Actions, facial expressions. We bring our interpretations to the relationship. Mm-hmm. Also, and a lot of you that have done the work and you understand this, that we listen through filters. And maybe you haven't done the trainings or this kind of work, and you understand that we listen through filters. We listen through our belief system. And if I was to believe something is a certain way, and I listen to something that Kathy's saying, then I hear it the way I want to hear it. And it's not always what she meant to say. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I'll ask, and it doesn't even have to do with relationship. It could be with your kids. Right. It could be with an employee. But I'll say something to someone, right, or ask them for something, and it was I want to say more of a generalization, but what I thought was specific, but it was more generalized. And then when they didn't deliver what I asked them for, I'm upset about it. Mm-hmm. And I think that shows up in romantic relationships too, is that we're interpreting through our filters. We're interpreting through the experience that we've just had. You know, maybe it's been a rough day, and then I come in, I have this stuff going on inside, and then she says something, and then I take it a certain way. Mm-hmm. Right? And I know a lot of people have this issue with communication.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, he doesn't hear me. She doesn't get me. She doesn't understand me.
Yeah.
Well, you know, communication, they say, is two-way, is like, 50-50, but I don't know. I can take responsibility that when I communicate something, that the other person, or Kathy, understands what I want her to. And so sometimes important is just something as simple as, what did you hear me say? Right? Or if Kathy's saying something to me and I hear it, and maybe I hear it a little weird, what I can say is, well, let me tell you what I heard you say. And now I'm not going to repeat back the words that she said like a parrot, like just a copy of what she said. I want to communicate my interpretation of what she said.
Right, your understanding of it.
So
right?
Here's what I understood that you want.
Right.
And then I can communicate it. And then she can say yes, no, or put a correction in if it isn't exactly what she wanted. And this is important. You need to be neutral with this. Giver and receiver, right?
Yes.
I know sometimes I could take a little dig. It's not what she meant, right? But that's just my stuff coming up. But when I'm conscious, and I'm making choices consistent with what I want with you in relationship, then I can ask it in a way that shows, I want to be able to understand what you said. I want to be able to do what you want me to do, but I need to understand it, right? So I think that's important. Right.
Well, and what you were saying earlier is how do you do it, or what do you do? And I said, well, sometimes I have to take a breath. And now that you're saying that, I think some of that I'm doing unconsciously is allowing myself to get neutral, right? Allowing myself to get to a space where I'm neutral, where I'm not angry or upset, or I can see it from different perspectives. And maybe, I'm working with myself to get myself there, right? So, and I think that either that or working with someone else, like I said, friends.
So
having friends that
I'll just say this. We all know that there's people we can go to and we can say things to, right? And they'll co-sign it and they'll support us in whatever our stuff is about it. Yeah. We all know those friends.
Yes.
And then there are some friends out there who will just tell you the way they see it.
Yes.
Their point of view from like a neutral point.
Yes.
It's theirs, and not supporting us in our smallness.
Yes.
So
that they will support us. Yes, exactly. And I think it's important for me, or has been important for me, to build and support that group of friends that are like that, that are going to stand for me, that are the strong people, that are going to be honest and real with me. And it has been important for me to nurture those relationships.
I think a powerful way too to go to a friend would be to say, hey, I kind of got my stuff coming up and I just need to be able to communicate and express it. I need your point of view. Right? To be like, I want to say this, intentional and responsible, really an ownership of the communication and the experience, and that you want to do something about it.
Yes.
Right?
So you're not just saying it just to wallow around.
Yeah, or to be right about how wronged you were, or how messed up he is. It's really important to communicate back, like feedback, and that's really what we're talking about.
Yeah.
We're talking about feedback. One feedback is you can look and see what's happening over there with the other person. Look on their face. But then again, that feedback is an interpretation. and that used to get me in trouble. Like, before I did the work, I'd come home and see her when I come in the house, and she didn't look very happy. Like, she looked like she had a bad day or a hard day. And so, like, who wants to mess with that, right? So I'm going to go into another room. I'm going to go outside, work in the yard, maybe go fishing, maybe go have a drink. Like, say, I was going to avoid that. And what ended up happening was it just pissed her off because I'm staying away from her or whatever. And she wasn't mad or upset. It just had a look on her face. But that's one thing that's a challenge for us as human beings is, like, we say that look, we bring a meaning to that look. Mm-hmm. And then every time we see that look, we act consistently with whatever meaning we give to it. So if that look was she's angry or had a hard day, then I'm going to act consistently with she's angry and had a hard day. And I don't want to avoid that because I don't want to avoid the conflict. And then I end up making her mad. And then it's crazy because then I get to be right that she's, like, being a bitch. Or, excuse me, that she's mad and having a hard day. And so we actually create what we interpret. Yeah. And so going back to what I was saying earlier, right? Mm-hmm. I could focus on what's great about her. Mm-hmm. Or I could say, is everything okay? Right? Rather than being automatic and avoid, there's some things that I can do responsibly, right? To really take responsibility or ownership of my interpretation. Because I think our interpretation really creates the problem.
Our interpretation creates the experience, and just depending on what we want to experience.
Well, my coach told me many, many, many years ago, let's go back 30 years, that the problem is not the problem. How you see the problem is the problem. Right? And so, again, I'm seeing something here that I'm making up in my head. My interpretation is the problem, but that's not the problem. It's me interpreting that as a problem. Mm-hmm. So actually creating the situation, which brings the power back to me because I can uncreate it, or I can create what it is I want. Mm-hmm. And going back to looking at what I love about you, or what I'm committed to creating with you, then I can start being and acting consistently with what it is that I'm committed to have in that moment. Right. And so power all comes back to me.
Yes, and one of the things we were talking about earlier was like your vision for the relationship, right? And I think particularly this time of year, people are thinking about what they want to create this year. And so I think it's important to have like a vision for your relationship, what you want to create. And so, it's one of the things that I'm going to work on this year is I'm going to create a vision for my relationship.
Mm-hmm. I still got mine. I'm holding on to mine. I'm not letting it go.
Yeah, but I was thinking about it today, and I was thinking, how do I take my relationship to a new level, right? Starting this year. So what is it I want? What's an area I want to improve or have be better? If I could tweak one area, all those questions that you ask people when you're enrolling them. What's important?
I'm really excited about this year because we have a pretty awesome relationship.
Yes. I think so too.
Excited about what's possible.
Well, and I was thinking that one of the things that I want to focus on, or that I think is important, is spending more time together doing stuff that I love, or doing stuff that we love, that make a difference. Now, some people may say, "Isn't that what you guys do all the time?" But I want to spend more time together with you doing that. I think we spend a lot of time doing that, but a lot of times we are separate when we're doing that.
Well, that's why we're doing this.
Yes, and so this is part of my vision for our relationship this year is doing stuff like this.
I wanted to do a quick commercial. Given we're talking about going into 2023, and creating a relationship or creating new results. In January 11th, our next training for new people, part 1, the discovery, begins on January 11th. And it's that time of year where we're really wanting to make a difference for people. This is going to be one of the last trainings that we do at a really low price. We're changing some of our marketing, our way we market. And it's going to require us to increase our prices to pay the cost of marketing. But for some of our past graduates, if you have someone that you want to begin this journey or that, contact me. Give me a call, send me a Facebook message. I'll get back to you. And let's have them be in this January 11th, part 1. And there'll be a part 2 following it directly. For the graduates out there, we had done some graduate refreshers for the last couple of years as we were developing our virtual training process. We're going to do another graduate refresher, and that'll be coming up the first week in February. I want to give you a quick... I'm sorry for being so close. I had to get my calendar up. I wanted to give you the right date because we were playing with some different dates. I just wanted to let you know. So the training that we're going to do for graduates is actually going to begin on the 8th of February. So the grad refresher is February 8th through the 12th. I'll have it posted on the website by the end of the day, and might want to take it to the next level for yourself. Really get reconnected and re-energized with the distinctions of the work and bringing it to what it is that's important to you. So what else do you want to say about relationships before we begin to wrap up for today?
No, nothing.
So
That's good for today.
Hey Danielle, how are you?
Hey.
How's it
Of
going?
course you join at the end.
Are you avoiding relationship? No, I know you got something pretty hot going, don't you? So how are you keeping your relationship fresh and exciting? Or is it just that new and it's just that's the way it is? Or are you consciously, intentionally doing that? What can you share with the people that are out there watching this? Or
She's like, I came here to learn. You're going to put me on the spot.
Schedule date nights.
Oh, that's really good.
And make the time for sex. That's a great idea.
That is. It is. It's important. And sometimes people say, oh, you don't want to... That takes the spontaneity out of it, but hey, you got to sometimes make time for it just like everything else.
You say ha-ha at the end, but I tell you, it is so important.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, I know that gets away from me. Mm-hmm. Right? And I think it's an important thing. Date nights. It was one of the first things that I did when I came out of the trainings. Right?
Yes.
When I first went into the trainings, I always had this thing about time. I didn't have time, and waiting till the business got going, and I was making enough money, and then we could do more things together, or vacation with the family, and that. And you know what? Never got there. And I can still remember back then that what I decided to do is that I had a date with you each week. Mm-hmm. Every other week, I spent an afternoon or the evening with one of my kids, and so we rotated that. And so I was consciously scheduling and choosing and creating what I want. So I think that's really important.
It really can.
Thanks for sharing that.
It gets easy to, particularly this time of year, to get so caught up in doing stuff that we don't take time out to be together.
Very important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I want to thank everybody again for joining us and watching our Let's Talk About What Really Matters. We're going to continue on this topic of a relationship. And Danielle said, agreed. It's easy to be consumed with tasks. Oh, yes. I have to get some ideas. You know, when you've been together for how long have we been together?
A few years, a year or two. I don't know.
We've been together since 1978, and you know what? It's important.
Yeah. Yes, to take the time out.
Absolutely, and have it be fun. Because you can take time sometimes, and
have it be a chore. Yeah, that wouldn't be good.
A duty, a burden.
Yeah. Probably not a good idea. So again, thank you guys for being here and showing up and listening and always supporting us. I love you guys. Thanks.
Yeah, and the last thing I'm going to say is, if you'd like to see us address a specific topic, and you'd rather not put it in the comment, just direct message Kathy or myself.
Yeah.
Right? Or send us a message at Cushman Coaching and Consulting on Facebook, and we'll make sure that we talk about it in the coming podcast.
We want to make this serve people, and so anything you want to talk about or want us to discuss, let us know.
Love you too.
Love you guys.
All right. Have a great day. See you next week. Same time, same station.
See you next year. Bye.
Bye. Oh, it is next year. Goodbye.